Alright, Greg here, and I'm going to go over everything new in version 2026.1 of Yaak. This is a big release, so let's just jump right into it, starting with a new MCP server. Then we'll get into new debugging, where you can see every detail of the request that was sent, configurable hotkeys, tab reordering, and new themes. So starting with the MCP server, if you go over to Settings, Plugins, search for MCP, then you can see this new MCP plugin. It's an external plugin for now. It's not built in just because it's very early, and hopefully we can get a lot of feedback and improve on it. But it's already very capable. So you can click on the link to the plugin to see the installation setup. But for now, I already have it installed and running. So let's go over to Claude and say, can you create a GraphQL demo request in my Yaak MCP server folder and send it off. So we should be able to go over to Yaak and see it in action. So MCP server folder. I'll help you create it. So it found the folder. It's creating the request. It chose like a random GraphQL API, I guess, and then it sent it off. So that's pretty cool. So you can see it listed the workspaces, listed the folders, created the request, and sent the request, and it also sent me all the response details on it. So pretty neat there. You can have it do stuff like list me all the stuff in here, send all the requests in a folder, and tell me if any failed. The real cool thing is if you have a code base open, you can say, look at all my routes in my code base and generate Yaak requests for all of them so that it can test things out. So it's just a much easier way to create and send off requests if you're already using Claude Code or something to write your endpoints. So the next thing, request debugging. This is a huge update in Yaak because it required a complete rewrite of the entire system, the sending system. So now you can see I have like a request which generates unique data every request, and if something failed or something, I want to know like, oh, what actually happened. So now there's this new request tab. This shows the request body that was sent, so you can see if I send a bunch of things. You can see, oh yeah, this is exactly what was sent as a result of rendering these template functions. There's also request headers that are included. So now you can see the exact headers that were sent off, including like cookies and all that stuff. And there's also a cookies tab, which is a new dedicated tab. So you can see it sent 1 cookie, received 3 cookies. You can see all the details and everything. And then the last one is a timeline tab, which is perhaps the most useful. So this is an HTTP endpoint which redirects to HTTPS. So you can see sent it off. You can see the settings that were used to send the requests, the initial request and all the headers. Sending to server, you can see the DNS information from the DNS lookup. So you can see this return to redirect with the location HTTPS, ignoring response body, sending a new redirect to the proper endpoint, and yeah, sending to server, DNS info again, and then you can see body was received. So pretty useful for debugging complex flows or just seeing what happened with a request in general. There's also a text version of this, which is more akin to like curl-v in your terminal. And yeah, very useful for just seeing what happened within a request in Yaak. What's happening here? Okay, that was weird. Moving on to customizable hotkeys. So we have this new shortcuts pane in here, and you can see if I search for like send active request, I can see the hotkeys that exist. I can remove the default hotkeys. I can set like, I don't know, Command Shift S. Maybe I want that to send requests. Go over here, Command Shift S sends a new request. And also if I right click, you can see the hotkey labels are all updated based on what you have configured. So super useful if you like to have your hotkeys a certain way, or you have conflicts or something like that. Yeah, I'm going to be adding more hotkeys over time now that they're configurable, and I don't have to worry about conflicts as much. So let me know what you want to control with hotkeys, and I'll see if I can get those in there. So the next one is tab reordering, which is I've wanted to do for a while, but now it's a little bit more relevant now that response has a bunch of tabs here. So I don't know, if I care about timeline the most, I can just move it over to the left and see my timeline. If I do a lot of documentation for my requests, I can move the info tab to the front. Maybe I care about params more than body, I can move those to the front. But yeah, editing requests, I think it's stored globally. So if you update the request tab order, it'll update everywhere in Yaak. And then the last thing is just some new themes. So I went over all the popular VS Code themes and made sure I added those into Yaak. So we've got themes here. I don't know if you can see this list on the recording, but it's very long now. We got Solarized Dark, we've got Synthwave, Tokyo Night, and Vitesse Dark, Winter is Coming, Fleet, Everforest, like a bunch of new themes. One of my favorites is Synthwave. I've been rocking that in my development. But yeah, new themes. So if you didn't have one that you were using that Yaak didn't have yet, now it's probably in there. And if it's not, let me know and I'll try and add it. You can also create a theme plugin yourself if you want to. So that's it in Yaak 2026.1. Check out the full release notes for, there's a bunch of other stuff in there. So check that out and let me know what you think, and look forward to a bunch more stuff coming in the next release. Oh, and go to shop.yaak.app if you want some swag. That's also new. Thanks. See you later.